Alrighty. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's demonstration, ClubExpress for Snowmobile Associations. I am Samantha. I'm the Director of Education, and I'm going to go through just a smidge of housekeeping before Steve takes us away to a winter wonderland. Just kidding. It's just ClubExpress. But to start us off, all of your microphones are muted. So if you have any questions, I am happy to take care of those in the chat while Steve's going through his demo today. We'll of course have time for live Q&A at the end of our session, but if you have any burning questions, go ahead and ask them. If it makes sense, I'll pipe in and have Steve demo it during his whole presentation. Otherwise, we'll go through all of those at the end of our session today. And if you're interested in any more of our content, if you're interested in seeing some of our past webinars and tutorials, you can head over to our YouTube channel. Just search for clubexpress.com with the .com spelled out on YouTube, and you can find all of our previously hosted webinars. You can also find upcoming webinars on our calendar, clubexpress.com, and you can sign up for those. They're free, and they are deeper dives into a lot of the features on your website or what would be your website. The tutorials are a little more succinct, and they'll give you a good idea of what some of those features can do for you. A copy of this webinar will also be available. So if you aren't able to stay for the whole thing, or if you want to share a copy of it with your board, you'll be able to. And without further ado, we do have some people piping in, but I will pass it off to you, Steve. You should be able to share your screen.
Let's go ahead and get started with that. And I hope everyone's seeing this PowerPoint that just popped open. ClubExpress, more passion, less paperwork, and the snowmobile people underneath.
We sure can.
All right, great. Let's get started. Hi, everyone. My name's Steve Raftis. I'm the Senior Sales Executive with ClubExpress. I think I may have seen some of your faces at the recent ISC Congress that just took place in Moline. We're going to be taking a deeper dive in ClubExpress right now. So we're just going to keep things simple here. We're just going to have a brief introduction, and then we're actually going to start taking a look at the nuts and bolts of ClubExpress. ClubExpress was founded in 2003. Our first release was in 2004. We're currently on version number 67. We average a new release every 3 to 4 months. What ClubExpress provides is a cloud-based solution. I want you to think of it like Facebook or Amazon. I just need to have internet connection in order to get to the latest version of ClubExpress. Platform itself is broken apart into several components. It's a holistic platform, a single source to run everything for you. It's going to be built around a website. There's going to be a public area to it, and then there's going to be a private area. You need to have a username and password to enter that area, and those credentials will identify you as a member who has access to their own account so they can update contact information, or as an administrator, the people that actually run the site. There's also 26 modules that are built into ClubExpress that help you with all kinds of administrative tasks, better communications with emails, blogs, and forums, and being able to manage documents and events and communications. So with all that being said, I'm going to go ahead and move over to one of our sandboxes. I hope everyone's able to see the Northwest Balloon Club. Please, can give me a thumbs up if we could see it. Awesome. So let's find out what the Northwest Balloon Club is all about. Couple of side notes about the Northwest Balloon Club. They don't really exist. We made them up. This is our sandbox, and we get to come up here and explore and get a better idea of how do you do this and how do you do that within ClubExpress. As Sam mentioned, any questions along the way, go ahead and fire them off in the chat area. And the other thing I'd like you to keep in mind is that the look and feel of ClubExpress sites are incredibly flexible. Please don't get locked into. And that's what I saw on the demo site as to the only way the aesthetics can be delivered. The template design, the color, the themes, where the menu is, the amount of items in there, what they're labeled, all these are open to whatever you'd like them to be. So with that being said, let's find out a little bit more about the Northwest Balloon Club. Here's our banner going across the top with our logo. Key items that are in our menu. We'll get back to that in a second. You're able to drive people online in order for them to apply to become a member. We could customize these areas where we're looking at committing use and the community outreach we do. I just mentioned that ClubExpress is delivered with 26 different modules that help you with different administrative tasks. The other thing it comes with are widgets. Widgets are items that do a singular simple task. I want to have better integration between our site and Facebook or Twitter or Instagram. That would be a widget. We have a YouTube channel. We want to be able to pull in videos and broadcast them on ClubExpress. That would be a widget. Slideshow, widget. The other widget that we have here is upcoming events. This widget speaks to the calendar module, and you tell this widget, look out 20 days, look out 30 days. Anything that's been posted within the calendar self-populates in here, and it keeps moving forward. Stronger online presence for better member engagement to let them know this is what's happening in the near future with our organization. Getting to the menu, like I said earlier, we can drive people online in order for them to apply to become members. I've mentioned that ClubExpress comes with 3 built-in items, the modules, the widgets, and the other thing it comes with are custom content or static pages. Now, some of these pages could be what I call flat. It looks like a Word document. There's some content, some pictures, some links. Very simple to maintain, obviously simple to build out as well. Some of these others, though, could be very dynamic. As I start scrolling down here, you'll see parallax scrolling. So different colors, different pictures, different contents. Links can be dropped anywhere throughout ClubExpress sites. Once more, a very modern, very engaging presence. Here's our calendar. This is one of the core modules that come with ClubExpress. And you decide when something gets posted on the calendar, do I want it to be viewable on the member site only, or is this something that I want everybody else to see as well? We get color code items so people could be a little bit more aware of, are these actually going to be events where we're going to get together and go out on the trails, or are these going to be committee meetings and items that you just need to be aware of. We can include pictures and titles in here, descriptions, when is it, where is it. You can have as many key contacts for this event as you like. We could even have breakout sessions for here as well. So something like the ISC conference that just took place, we would be able to support it by saying not only are we registering it, but we're going to ask you to let us know which breakout sessions you're going to be attending. Something a little bit more local, if you're going to be hosting a race, for example, and you could have a juniors division, you could have a seniors division, you could say we're going to be doing so many kilometers or so many miles and break those apart as well. People would be able to individually sign up for it. The point is full disclosure for all the details that go along with this, members being able to manage themselves, and they're able to come up here and take a look at details and then take the necessary steps in order to be able to register for it. We could support a ticker, letting people know how many seats are still available, and unique pricing for members, for non-members, and guests. People who are coming along with members are all supported. Finally, at the end here, we have contact us. Keeping in mind, we've been looking at the public area, so we need to have somebody to wave out to the world and say, if you have any questions, any comments, get in touch with us. At your discretion, you can include your mailing address, phone number, fax numbers if they're still being used, who the key contacts are for the club. And notice email addresses have been posted here, but they're not live links. And that's been done intentionally in order to avoid spam. But we do have some built-in help where we can fire off emails to some highlighted people. Again, this list would be customized to your organization. This is the public area, and you're complete control as to what's public and what's private. I've been on some sites that right away it says username and password. And I've been on other sites that I even wonder if they even have a private area because so much of the information is made available on the public side. And I'm just highlighting that in order to show you you're in complete control what's public and what's private. I need to be able to log in to get into the private area. So remember, log in up here. It's going to ask me for my name and my password. Just like the guys I mentioned earlier, Facebook and Amazon, I could check off on this box, remember me on this computer, and I never have to log in. The system will remember me. For those who forgot their username and password, need some help, we got some DIY help that's already built into here. The system will ask you for your name and your email address in order to do a test versus what's on file. If it matches up, automatically sends out an email with your username and a new temporary password. This is the game changer, though, that ClubExpress provides. Tech support to the people that are running the site. No limit to it, and it's live tech support out of our Chicago office, 6:30 in the morning till 6 o'clock in the evening. You'll talk to a live engineer. Simply just give us a call, Monday through Friday. Okay, username and password are in. Go ahead, log in. I'm now in the private area. You're going to see a different menu because we're looking at privileged members only information. Also, for my username and password on the upper right-hand side, I've been identified as Martin Smith that just logged in. So when I hover over my name, I get a drop-down menu up here. In the top portion, this is information that's getting pulled out of the membership directory. This is the picture that you have uploaded, your name, your email address, and your phone number. This is where you log out of the system. This is where you could tell a friend about how awesome the club is. Through our app, we're able to send messages and notifications, and they're also going to get alerted within the platform itself. And then my profile. Now, one of the mantras of ClubExpress is members being able to manage themselves. This is where they're able to do it. I have a quick little snapshot of my membership summary, type of membership I have, my status, when does it expire, my member number, when I first joined, when I last renewed. A custom feature where you can download a membership card to your phone. It also could be formatted so you can print it out locally as well. And you're maintaining it. You renew your membership. You got a new expiration date. You've updated some of the data on there. It automatically opens up, updates itself, and then you can download the latest version of it. I can manage my basic contact information, name, address, phone number, email, cell phone, typical type of stuff. I'm not going to be reaching out to Samantha and saying, hi, it's Steve. Can you please change my email address from Hotmail to Gmail? Or I got a new cell phone number, update my records. Those days are gone. Just as easily as I did, you're able to log in, make sure your information stays current. Additional member data, custom fields, no limit to how many you can have in order to add some more information to the database. 22 different types of answers that go along with it. Obviously, we got export capabilities built for them where you could extract that information, put it into something like Excel and start doing your own slicing and dicing, your own data mining. Standard member directory, this is where you highlight what information is going to be displayed within the directory. I could go ahead and say, yeah, go ahead and show all my information within the directory, or don't even list me within the directory. And then I got bits and pieces of that, other options to choose from. I could upload my picture, a banner, my bio. So I could talk a little bit more about who I am, what I'm all about, and could include links and pictures in here as well. Once I put all these pieces together, whenever you look up Marty within the directory, this is what you'll find. Very modern aesthetic, very engaging presence. Here's quick links to get to specific information, how I want to be contacted, more additional information, personal information as well, any kind of emergency information we need to keep in mind. Snowmobilers, we need to be able to have access to that. My bio, any interests I may have. We've activated the feature where members can upload pictures into their own personal photo album and then make that available to other members. This is not the club's or the association's photo album. That's a separate product. Any kind of achievements I've been awarded throughout my tenure here. And again, the point is a more modern, engaging online presence. Getting back into my profile, I'm able to manage my username and password. If I ever need to upload anything, I have my own personal folder here to take care of that. Histories. Everything's been captured from day one of running ClubExpress. What events have been registered for, what payments have been made, how they were made. If I ever need to go back in time, here's my history of all the payments I've ever made. And if I've ever made any kind of donations and I need to get some kind of documentation to turn in for tax purposes, it's already built in here. Again, members being able to manage themselves, I'm able to print off the documentation, turn it over to my tax person. We're hearing more and more about requirements of being a volunteer as part of your stewardship to the club. We're able to track that for you. This is one of the core modules that's built into ClubExpress where you're able to post volunteering opportunities, members be able to see them, and then sign up for them. Forums. Great way of being able to have a more fluid online communication. You can have as many different forums as you want. Some of them could be what we call open. You're a member, you're able to read and write to it. Others, we could start drizzling some security on it. You need to belong to this one committee or this interest group in order to be able to read and write to it. Everybody else is only able to read what's happening within that. Or we could lock it down. Your board of directors, for example, who needs to have that private, fluid line of communication that nobody has access to, we could deliver that. It's your username and password that determine you're able to see these, you don't have access to these other forums. And it's the same concept of security that we have with the forums module that we have with the documents module. No limit to how many folders you have or how many files you upload. And you can put some of the folders in the public area, some for all members, some for committees, others for the board of directors. Again, it's your username and password that say, You get to see 1, 2, and 3. You don't have access to A, B, and C. And I hope I'm giving you the impression there's a lot of functionality here that members are able to wrap their arms around and be more engaged. I'm going to get back to the menu. Some of these items we've already taken a look at, such as home and the event calendar. If I hover over members, I'm going to get a drop-down menu appear. Now that drop-down menu is available throughout the whole platform, and it's a great way of being able to organize more information. Blogs is included, so if you have any kind of leadership that wants to stand up and put out their monthly message, blogs is a great way of doing it. You can run your committees out of here. Forums we've spoken about, news, what's the latest and greatest of what's happening, especially from the state level. You want to be able to broadcast what's happening. News is a great way of being able to do that. Classified ads. This is one of our custom modules. People can post stuff that they are no longer looking to keep around. Perhaps they're a little bit more senior in their snowmobiling expertise, and they want to get rid of their junior equipment. Classified ads, great way of being able to do that. The one I like taking a deeper dive in is documents, because everybody uses the documents module. We have a pretty traditional setup here. We got our folders here on the left-hand side, and when I hover over them, they become highlighted. Once they're highlighted, when I click on it, it self-populates with all the files that are in there. We support all formats, no limit to how many files you upload or the space they take up. Simply just click on it, and I'll get this pop up where I could download it, and then I could print it, save it, read it, whatever I need to do. I could also search for my documents off of here as well, based off of the tags, the links that I attach to it, the format that it's in, or the folder that it's in. Over here on the right-hand side, we have this bar that's been following us around. And when I hover over it, it pops open. This is my online assistant. I could print the page that I'm on, or I could adjust the size of the text, or I could jump to the top portion of the screen. But I want to take a moment and talk about edit. You've heard me say a couple of times it's your username and password that drive who you are in the private area of ClubExpress, but the role you can have is one of 3 people. Most common is going to be a member. They have access to their own account and whatever's been made available throughout the whole private area. The flip side of that are the administrators. These are the people that have access to everything. They get to do it all. In between the two of them is somebody that we call a coordinator. Coordinators are people who have been given specific above and beyond rights and privileges. It's not full-fledged like an administrator who gets to see it all. You get to assign it. You only get to do A, B, and C. So I want you to think about titles when you think about coordinators. I'm the treasurer. I'm the webmaster. I'm the event coordinator. I'm the membership director. I want to be able to scale the functionality of what they will have access to that point. And there's 7 layers of security when it comes to being a coordinator. My point's this: whenever you see the edit button appear, you have access to the administrative area. So right now I'm looking at the membership directory, the documents directory from the member's perspective. If I click on edit, I just flipped you over. We're now in the administrative area. This is where you're able to manage the module. Again, that idea, hover over any of these and it becomes highlighted. And then I can click on it. Well, I could edit the properties of the folder, the name of the folder, where it appears, visibility, who gets to see it. I've mentioned this a couple of times, the security that's built into ClubExpress. Are we going to allow members to make uploads? If I've got documents that I need to upload, same idea, hover over it, click, view the documents. I get a table giving me the description of the files that are already in there, such as title and was created, the visibility, how many times it's been viewed and downloaded. But to add a document, click on Add Document. This panel opens up. What folder does it go into? What's the title, the description, tags? What are the keywords I can link to this so I could quickly and easily search for it? Who the authors are, any kind of dates I need to be aware of. Once more, visibility. Who gets to see this? Talking about security. Selecting the document, just like you drill down into your computer to grab a file and attach it to an email, that's what I'm doing here. So very simply, if I could attach a file to an email, I could upload a document into ClubExpress. I hit save, and that's it. Life's that simple. Here's what I think is the cool part about this. I've mentioned a couple times, ClubExpress is built in with 26 different modules that help you with all kinds of administrative tasks. And they've been engineered in such a way that they think and they act almost identical to each other. So if I understand how to use one of the modules, I got a good running start of understanding how to use all the modules. We're not reinventing the wheel. It's going to be the same handful of moves that you do over and over again that allow you to do all kinds of different things. So, for example, I just showed you how you upload a document. This is how you upload everything at the Club Express. What this means to you is that your ramp up time to understanding how to use the system is going to be short, simple, and quick. We're going to take this a step further because of the role of the coordinator. I could turn around and say, Samantha, I'm volunteering you to be the director for the documents module, and I'm going to coach you how to do everything, how to do the uploads, how to put tags on them, how to create folders and put security clearances off them, and how to search for them. And thank you once more for volunteering to help manage the documents of our group. Off and running you go. In the back of my mind, though, I just gave Samantha a good running start of being able to do everything within ClubExpress. It's that idea. If I understand how to use one of the modules, I got a good running start of understanding how to use all the modules. So training becomes a non-issue. Finally, it's ClubExpress's holistic perspective. The 26 different modules that help you with all kinds of different things talk to each other. If I make a change in one, it rolls out through the rest of the system. So I'm never managing any kind of siloed data, never scratching my head going, is so-and-so still one of the directors on that committee? Is so-and-so still a treasurer? Does this person belong to this focus group or this interest group? As people are jumping on and off, as information's getting updated, you're never managing it. The system's doing it for you. So you're never going to be wondering if you're dealing with with a correct list. You're dealing with the list as of 5 seconds ago. So if people have updated their status, if they belong to a committee, if somebody changed their email address from Hotmail to Gmail, it gets rolled out through the system. So that time and effort you put into managing all those groups is gone. ClubExpress is doing it for you. So at this point, I usually take a little bit of a pause and reach out to Samantha and ask her, is there anything that's popped up in the chat that we need to go down the rabbit hole of?
So there were a couple of questions that came from your visit to the member profile. One of them was just in regard to the membership summary at the very top and whether that info is auto-populated, and yes, it is. And so that info isn't something that you can change. Admins are able to change the expiration date of members, but that is in fact a rabbit hole. Another question, though, that I think could take us on a nice little journey is one of the attendees asked about being able to see the membership information and activity of other members in a group membership. And I thought that maybe you could take a minute and talk about the difference between primary, secondary, and tertiary members, what kinds of access they'd have, what kind of activity they might have in their member profile, and things like that.
So what makes ClubExpress unique is that we support what's called family memberships. You could have multiple people linked together underneath a single membership. In ClubExpress, the main contact is primary contact. So the person who's going to be primarily responsible for the relationship, renewing, making payments, making sure the information is correct, that's the primary contact. Because of a family type structure, I could also include kids underneath my family membership. Kids, because they don't have usernames and passwords, are complementary. So they're just sent there simply for tracking purposes. Perhaps you, as I mentioned earlier, you may have an event and you're going to have a juniors division. Well, the kids' information is already in there. Be able to quickly and easily sign them up. That leaves in limbo the spouse. Are they needing to have a login credential in order to log in? 9 times out of 10, the answer is going to be no. They're going to just share it as a family. Great. We'll put the spouse in as a spouse, and they could have their own email in there so they could get correspondence as well. There's an exception to this. If they are both in a leadership position, then one of the spouses would be a secondary member. So for example, let's say I help with the races. So I need to be able to log in with my own username and password to get my specific event management information. Who's registered, who's paid, who hasn't paid, any kind of questions that were asked that I need to get back to them on. So it puts me in a position to better manage that event. and it's going to be driven off of my username and password. My wife, however, she's a CPA. She helps with the finances. She needs to be able to log in order to be able to extract that information and help running the financial end of the association. Her username and password are going to permission her to be able to do that extract and be able to get those reports. So that's how we're able to break it apart. And it's the more information we have as to how many primary and secondary members you have, better we'll be able to tell you what the hosting fees are going to be.
I think that covers our questions for now.
All right. And obviously, because you're the primary member, you would be able to go in here and have access to everyone who's linked up to your account and be able to go back in time to see what events have been registered for, what payments have been made, so on and so forth. Samantha, are we moving on?
I believe so, yes.
All right. So as a quick recap at this point, we've seen the public area. We've seen what the member profile and the member engagement area is, and we get a better sense of who the coordinators are and the role they can play. I'm going to tip my hand here a little. When we logged in, I logged in as Martin, who happens to be an administrator. That's why this link, control panel, appeared in here. I've just been peeling away the layers, showing you the different perspectives. If I was just a simple member who logged in, control panel will not have appeared. So clicking on control panel takes me to the administrative area. This is where all the magic is done of being able to run your site. We have a series of tabs going across the top: people, website, money, club, communications, and support. We start off in the people tab. And before we start taking a look at some of the nuts and bolts here of running ClubExpress, I want to highlight these three panels. They exist in all the tabs, respective to the tab that you're in. And by that, I mean, you're always going to have admin functions towards the top, which are the most common administrative functions per the tab that you're in. This is also where you'll find your reports. In the middle areas are going to be the modules that are best linked to the tab that you're in. And on the bottom is setup. Setup does have administrative functions. You don't touch them that often. You will touch them when your site is first started and maybe a couple times throughout the rest of the year. But you're not going to be diving in as much as you are to the items that are in the admin functions area. So to better manage the real estate of the screen, things you don't touch that often out of the way towards the bottom, things you need to get to quickly and easily towards the top. I'm in the people tab, admin functions, people manager. This is where I come in here and start running reports against the database. This is where I start making manual updates to the system itself. I could add members. I could add non-members. This is something unique with ClubExpress. I have a separate database within it where I'm able to store information who are people who, hey, I had a great time. Please put me on your mailing list. They're not really a member at that point. They don't need to have a username and password. Put them in the non-member area and have that taken care of. I can start running reports against who my active people are, my expired. If you have a vetting process and you need to review applicants before they are technically a member, we're able to host that as well. They'll go through the application process, and then you'll say when that application process is put on hold, and they'll get a message. Steve, thank you very much for your application. It's currently under review, and we'll let you know when we have some news to share. To be able to actually get that list of who are the people that are looking to become a member, they're posted right here. Taking us in a different direction, I want to take a look at all my active members who have this membership type, are in this category, belong to this committee or this interest group. Our recent additions, these are the people who are 30, 60, or 90-day-old members, and I want to be able to reach out to them. Currently in renewal, how about owe us money? Here are people with a pending payment, and here they are. Now, this is done in a couple of different ways here. First of all, this is where I could get a line item list of, these are all the people that have got a pending balance. Heard a comment, Internet Vernacular, there's an envelope. I could go ahead and just click on it. My local emailing service, such as Gmail or Outlook, automatically opens up free address to that person. I can fire off an email. Hey, Carol, please log in. There's some money owed on your account. Please settle your balance. However, Carol happened to come by to one of our meetings, and she said, you know what? I owe some money. Can I just cut you a check right now? Absolutely. You owe us 150 bucks, and she'll cut you a check. We received the check number 12345, and let's put in some notes in here. Notes. and then I'm going to record the check payment. And as soon as I do that, the information is going to roll out through the system. A couple things are going to happen here. First of all, it's going to attach itself to Carol's profile. This check was cashed on this date for these, and these are the notes to go along with it. So it's automatically going to attach itself to the financial end of it. It's her account. It's also going to attach itself to the money area. 150 bucks came in on this date from Carol's check. An email is going to be sent out to Carol as well, giving her a heads up that, hey, we got your payment. Thank you very much. We've applied it to your balance. Getting back into the control panel here, in the setup area, this is where you would be able to fill out your different membership types. The renewal expiration settings, one of the biggest pains that organizations go through, membership renewal. We accommodate two types of calendars, anniversary date, so 12 months of membership from the date you joined, or everybody's renewing and expiring at the same time. ClubExpress supports up to 3 notifications going out as reminders, time to renew your membership. They could be sent out full-time email, full-time regular mail, or email is the preferred way of sending them out. If there's no email address on file, it'll default to regular mail. You also set up the intervals as to when they go out. All right, so what does all this mean? 45 days before membership expires, ClubExpress will start blasting out emails. Steve, thank you very much for being a member. It's been a blast having you around. In about 45 days, your membership will be expiring. Please click on this link in order to renew. Click on the link, takes me to the site, go through the renewal process. Last step is going to be, please settle your balance. That's round 1. Second notice is going to be 8 days beforehand, but before they're sent out, ClubExpress is actually going to look back in time to determine how many people actually renewed their membership. Now, clean them out so they're not getting duplicate unnecessary messages. The third one is being sent out -5 days. That means 5 days after the membership expires, that final notification goes out. Just in case I wasn't too clear on this, when you're emailing, you get to write the language for each of the email notifications. So it's not going to be the same one again and again and again. And you're not locked down to these intervals. These could be whatever you want them to be. I could turn around and say, oh, first one's going to be 40 days, and let's make the second one 12 days. I like -5. So let's keep that there. I hit save. I just updated everything. And that's the rule of thumb you need to keep in mind with ClubExpress. If you make any changes and you save them, consider them live. I set this up once. I walk away. The system goes on autopilot. And those are some of the highlights within the People tab. Within the website area, this is where I build out my static pages or my custom pages. I can upload photos to build out my photo album. This is where I control the look and feel of the site. This is where I could build out the different menus, the public-facing menu, the private members-only area as well. I have some website options here I could take advantage of as well. Do we require strong passwords? If your membership is open for renewal or you owe some money on your account, do we want little pop-ups informing you of that? So you log in, it's going to say, you owe some money, please settle your balance. If you're using SEO for search engine optimization, this is where you could drop in your keywords, as well as any kind of Google Analytics that you need from the activity on your site. Money tab, reports are already built in to be able to extract financial transactions that took place. ClubExpress integrates with QuickBooks, the desktop Windows, and the online and the Apple versions of it. And this is where you would set up your financial accounts. You could have as many different bank accounts linked to ClubExpress. So consider this from the member's experience. I could come in here, I could renew my membership. I could sign up for a couple events, make a donation, and then make a single credit card transaction in order to settle the balance. But behind the scenes in the administrative area, it's already been pre-assigned. Dues money goes into this one bucket. Event money goes into this other bucket. Donations for fundraising goes into a third bucket. And all that money is just going to roll out into where it needs to go. No management there. System's doing it for you. Within the Club tab, this is where you can do your exports. If you need to custom write your own reports, we do have that available as a subscription service. This is where you assign your administrators and coordinators. Now, as a reminder, administrators have full access, so they're pretty simple. Come up here, add administrator. I'm going to click on search, and congratulations, Mark. I'm going to make you an admin, and that's it. Adding coordinators takes a little bit more effort because you actually need to highlight. This is the functionality that I'm going to provide you. It could be just as simple as that. Or if I'm the webmaster, I'm going to check them all. If I'm the treasurer, I'm going to check them all. So consider this. Somebody becomes a member and they're assigned a username and password. Then after some time, they get a little itch and they want to start helping. So you make them a coordinator and you come in here and you say, this is the rights that we're going to give you. Then a little bit of time after that, you're a little bit more familiar with the system. I want to be an administrator. I want to help out running everything. Great. Here you go. We make you an administrator. And then after some time after that, say, you know what? Time to pass the baton. Somebody else can pick this up. And then you turn them around and you make them a member. Throughout that whole arc of member to coordinator to administrator back to member, they could keep the same username and password. That's not driving it. It's being able to make all these check marks that enable what kind of functionality you're going to be having people, giving people. So again, pretty simple system, very rich. Within the communications area, text messaging is already built into ClubExpress. There are additional fees to go along with it. There's a per month fee of $2 and then 2 cents a message received. Your members need to opt in order to be able to receive messages. I could custom write my own forms within here. I can conduct surveys and polls, and more organizations are using the surveys module for online elections. Emailing is already built into ClubExpress. We're going to start off with editing the basics, such as what category of an email am I sending out? Email address and the name. Are we sending it out now, or are we telling it, send it out on this date and this time? What the subject is, any kind of CCs I need to do. Is it going to be pretty rich looking HTML, or is it going to be plain text? Do we want to resend it after so many days of somebody not opening it? I set this up once and I go to phase 2, which is who's actually going to get my email? I could have pre-saved lists here, or I could create my own list. And then once I hit on create my own list, this drop-down menu appears, and here are all the ways that I've preset for you of isolating specific groups of people within your database. And I could just grab one, and then, oh, look, there's another option here. And then add another one, or add another one, and just keep adding onto it, and then actually save that list. So I've customized my own list. And then let's think back with the modules talking to each other, that data fluidity. I'm never maintaining this list. ClubExpress is doing it for me. And then finally, this is where I could build out the look and feel of the templates for the emails. And once I have an inventory of them, I just simply just grab it, drag it over, and start populating it with information. I can continue, I can close, build out my templates, send a test to myself, or say it's ready to go ahead and blast it out. We also archive all the emails that have been sent out, so you can go back in time and see how they performed. This is where you're able to custom write the system emails, the automatic emails. Somebody registers for an event, the renewal notices. This is where you build out the language for each of those emails. Finally, support, something that ClubExpress keeps getting cheered on because of the quality of support that we provide. Every page that we visited has this question mark on the upper right-hand side. So when I click on it, it's actually going to take me to the online administrator's manual. I'm going to be anchored to the page that I was on, and I also have the opportunity to do keyword searches off of here as well. Manuals that could be downloaded, video tutorials. This gives you access to our YouTube channel, where you can actually start drilling down to see how things are done in ClubExpress. Now, some of them could be perhaps module driven. Let's take a deep dive into the committees module or the documents module. Some of them could be role driven. I'm the treasurer, I'm the content editor, I'm the webmaster. So then we'll take that perspective of all the items that are in ClubExpress per that role. Finally, at the end here, we've got how do you get in touch with tech support? Again, it's one of the things that people keep cheering on about ClubExpress. Well, there's their email address and their toll-free tech support number in order to get in touch with them. There is one last thing that I wanted to show you. It's kind of unique, and this is what the Colorado group is doing. So we just jumped over to Colorado's Snowmobile Association site. They've activated this feature, Chapter Finder. So for the states that are using ClubExpress, you're able to start pinning. Where are all the clubs that belong to your state? And they, as delegates, are able to log into the state site. and manage their information. And I guess I have to refresh my page. Name of the club, the location, who the key contacts are, how to get in touch with them. And you're going to notice it's going to be different information per each pin. Sometimes we're going to drop in here a link to our website, maybe our event calendar. So the point is, I'm starting to give some more value to my clubs that are members of my state association by letting them come onto the state. So somebody comes by and goes, I want to join a snowmobile club. Which one's by me? And be able to find them and be able to have better communication between the state and the clubs that are running ClubExpress. And that's it. That is the 30,000 foot view of ClubExpress. And I see the chat has been increasing.
We do
And
have some questions.
I love
And
that.
there's actually, if you would do me a massive favor. So
Uh-oh.
someone was asking if we could take a look at the profile of a secondary member. And to get there, I thought we could just kind of take a look at a group membership and how that might look a little bit different in the member profile. So in the People Manager, if you just search for active and expired members with the last name Cho, CHO, that'll give us a it'll give us a good group membership to work with. And so in this case, Jenny Cho, and we can kind of get a little bit of a preview of the family by looking at our search results grid. So Jenny Cho is the primary member. And in that maintain column, you can kind of see that there are a few different icons that also help us out. So all of the related members of the family membership, aside from Jenny, all have this quick link that'll take you directly to the primary member's profile. But if we go into Jenny's profile as the primary member, you'll also be able to access everyone else in Jenny's family membership. So if you'll go ahead and
So to
click on
jump in
the,
here first, sure.
oh,
One
sure,
moment,
sure.
please. Sure. So we'll see that Daniel, Sally, and Stan, all these icons within the maintain column are identical. The difference is Jenny's, who's the main contact. Now, main contact, primary member. This icon means you're able to renew them because it's only done with the primary member. And as Sam just pointed out to us, she is also the primary member. And that's why we have this separate icon here where we can actually get to the breakdown of who the other people are that are linked to her. These are live links where then I would be able to go into their specific information. I'm sorry, Sam, where would you like me to go now?
Oh, no. And then go ahead and go into Jenny's profile. And so now we can see even more of a sort of breakdown. And at the top in that membership summary, whereas with Martin with an individual membership, you're just seeing a breakdown of his own membership. Jenny can log into her own profile, and Jenny has access to all of this info also. So it's not just because we're navigating as Martin Smith. If we logged in as Jenny Cho, she'd be able to see on that right-hand side her husband, her daughter, and her brother all as part of the group membership. And each of those is also a live link that will take you to that person's profile or info. And you'd be able to edit all of that there. Now, Jenny can manage, for anyone who's interested, Jenny can manage chapters for all of her membership. So when she decides that she's going to choose what chapter she belongs to, she can manage that for everyone else in her membership, manage their contact information, and be able to register them for events since they're all under the same membership.
I'm going to take a sidestep here for a moment. One of the things that I highlighted when we were in Moline was that ClubExpress is managing a handful of ski councils. Nationally, all geographic areas where the ski clubs exist roll into a council. So it's geographically based. Like I said, ClubExpress is supporting a handful of them. The way we support them is that there is the top layer where it's the name of the ski council, and then each of the delegates from the respective clubs report to the council. And I just can't help but think, well, the snowmobile state groups must be operating the same way. You've got the top layer where there's a state, and then all the clubs report to that state, and each of the clubs has their own respective delegate. That's what we're looking at here. We're just taking a little bit of a spin on it because it's not a family membership. It's the club membership. I'm the delegate that reports to the state, and I'm able to come in here as the delegate. That's who Jenny is. And here are all the other delegates that are reporting from the club to the state. So I'm able to come in here and manage who they are and what access they have and their contact information at the local level. This is a very powerful feature because now clubs are more engaged to the state because they're able to come in here and say, we've had turnover, we have new delegates, and the person who's primarily responsible is able to come in here and say, no problem, got it. And they don't need to be running on ClubExpress in order to have that functionality because they're a delegate to the state. So they're automatically going to be in the database as a member.
Fabulous. And there's another question. There are actually a couple of questions that might be a little bit related. So the first, I'll answer the easier one first. Are members able to join multiple clubs at the same time without having to input their information for each club? So if you are referring to totally separate clubs with different websites, then yes. But if you are referring to a chaptered organization and being able to join more than one chapter of an organization, you'd be able to do that without having to recreate that wheel. But the second related question possibly was, if you have multiple clubs, dozens of clubs, let's say, does each club have to sign up with ClubExpress, or would it all be together as one group? And I believe that would depend on the model that the parent level organization chooses. Is that correct?
That is correct. Now, we've mentioned this a couple of times. This was really mentioned a lot during the Congress. Haven't really talked about it here, but Washington and Colorado are using ClubExpress. The model that they're using is there is a single site for the state and the delegates to be able to report to it. You could also arrange it where it's a single site for everyone. That means the state and each of the clubs will have their own portion of ClubExpress. Let me see if I could find you a quick example of that.
So while you're doing that, I can speak to the Northwest Balloon Club. The demo site that we're using now is a website where the parent level hosts the entire site, and each individual chapter, so the Chicago chapter, the Schaumburg chapter, all of those have special pages on this single website. And I'll pause since you've gotten to where you need to be, Steve.
So what Sam's talking about is here we have a state level. And you're able to go in here and talk and do basically everything we've looked at so far. But I've got all these chapters as well. And what I've done is given them a piece of the pie. They have their own slice that they're able to control. And it's their username and password that's going to drive that. Behind the scenes, though, it's a single database, but it's your username and password that's able that determines what sections you're able to see. And you're never going to be able to peek over the corner, over the fence to say, okay, well, I'm in the Illinois Association. What's happening in Iowa? What's happening within Michigan? Nope, you're not permissioned to be able to do that. We could put our directors in here. You can run your committees and your local events out of here as well, manage your documents. And again, this is in the public area. But once I log in, those walls go up and nope, you get to see what's happening within the state level and all the clubs. You're not able to see from one club to another. This is built-in functionality. We just need to have a chat to see which model would best serve you. And again, this is just a single site at this point.
And another question, can state members also be members of one or more local clubs? Yes, they can.
Yes, they can.
Absolutely. Yeah. So you can have folks that might be just members of a state organization. Perhaps they don't have a local chapter they can join, and they would be considered perhaps members at large. But you can also have folks who are members of your state level plus an additional chapter that's local to them so they can be apprised of everything happening, not just nearby. And yes, you can control whether or not members would be able to join more than one, or if you would want to force them to only join one. And so, related to chapters, different clubs, and access, would clubs that have their own sites have access to reports and financial reports? So that depends on who you give access to. And that goes back to one of the things that Steve visited, which would be administrators and coordinators. So you can create site level administrators who would have access to all levels of financial reporting, all levels of access to membership data. And you can also assign folks with administrative access for just their specific piece, just their portion. So just their chapter or just their region. And they would only be able to see the information specific to their chapter. So they wouldn't have access to everything. Looks like the questions may have died down a bit.
Going once, going twice. I just saw the
Oh,
chat
we
go
got
up.
one. Yep. Do all modules come at one price? So, great question. There are, I believe, every single thing that you have seen today is included. Actually, I can say that with confidence. Everything that you've seen today
Yes.
is included. And so there wouldn't be any surprises there. There are over 20 different built in modules. And then there are maybe around 15 or so extra cost features. That would include things like custom reports that you can build, a resource scheduler, banner advertising, contact log. Those are modules that are for more niche needs. Not to say that there might not be something in there that you would find extremely valuable, but for the most part, everything that you would need is included in your site. You can activate it or deactivate it on your own without paying anything extra. That includes blast emailing, event calendar with registration, the ability to use our built-in merchant account. That's also at no extra charge. Volunteering modules, the standard member directory. The list goes on.
Emails, blogs, forums, managing committees and interest groups, et cetera, et
Mm-hmm.
cetera, et cetera. Now,
Document library.
document mount. Now, the ones that are not included that you want to be aware of, this has been something that many at the local level, the ski club, excuse me, snowmobile clubs look at is we want to be able to track how many meters we do and be able to publish that. Well, we got a module for that. The big one though is trail maps and conditions. This we actually built out specific for Colorado, where they want to be able to have a map up there and have the the conditions of that trail reported on. It's one of the arrangements that they've made with the government that they will be the ones maintaining it. So they want to be able to report off of it what are the conditions of that trail. These are
Yeah.
basically the only, yeah, I would think these are the ones you really need to be aware of. Trail maps, the ride along, and the other one that I spoke of earlier was classified ads, which is basically your own Craigslist. If you have equipment that's not being used anymore, you want to make it available for other members to be aware of. This is a way you would be able to publish the details and the pricing and the pictures of that stuff that you have available.
And would you also do me another very small favor and go to our pricing page so we can kind of just give them an idea? Oh, you are at the pricing page. So there was a question about the base price. So if you wanted to give just a very brief tour of the setup fees and the monthly hosting fee calculator.
So the way that I like doing this in a different order, I like doing this in the order of when items would appear. So the first thing that's going to come across your way is the setup fee for the site to be developed. We just need to have a conversation about how much of a wow factor you want to the look and feel of the site, the number of custom content and static pages, and if you'd like training. It's basically those three gears that determine this is the package that would best suit you. Basic setups are for organizations that say, No thanks, Club Express. We got our volunteers. We have our time. We're going to build it out ourselves. Great. Take advantage of the 60-day free trial. You have your own canvas. Build it out. All the others are when you say Club Express, this is your baby. You know it better than we do. Please build out the site. And we just need to have a chat as to which package would best suit you. The other thing that's going to come across your way is the SSL certificate. We need to encrypt the site. So it'll be properly secured and browsers will let people visit your site. I don't know if you've experienced it, but when sites are not properly encrypted and secured, browsers will not even let you visit them. And depending on the length of time that you get, between 1 year and 5 years, pricing is posted right there. That leaves the monthly hosting fee. This we need to have a chat about because with some of the states that I spoke to, they're pretty firm about, no, we need to be able to communicate with everyone who's a member. All right, we need to go down that road in order to be able to talk to it. Others were very firm about, well, wait a minute, we are only wanting to talk to the delegates, the people from the clubs that are reporting to the state. So we need to have an understanding in order to tell you this is what the hosting fee is going to be. For those who are just looking at delegates, you basically have this idea in your mind, much like I said earlier, the family memberships. We always start off with primary member. Who's the main contact? Well, the question at that point becomes, well, how many clubs do you have in your state if you're a state association? And that's where this first column comes into play. The math basically turns out to about 71 key contacts or delegates is going to be the monthly minimal $30 a month. So just like a family membership, we start off with the primary, and then how many other delegates from the club are reporting to the state. That's what the secondary number will be. All you have to do is come to the monthly hosting fee calculator, hover over the question mark, and then the rack rate will appear. I would
I think,
prefer,
oh, sorry.
because this tends to get a little gray, I would prefer we have a conversation. Give me the material, give me the content for, Steve, what's our hosting fee going to be? And this is the details to go along with it. I will do the math for you and get you the description, the details as to this is how I came to that conclusion. Too many times it gets misinterpreted and people are thinking it's going to be a lot more expensive than what it is. And just to make life simple, my email address is steve@clubexpress.com. So if you do have that question or any other question, just fire off an email and we'll have a chat about it.
I think that the questions have died down. We had a very lively bunch today.
Sounds good. I always like that. A lot of
Yeah,
interaction makes
very
it
great
good.
questions.
All right,
And
going
yes,
once. Oh, never mind. Ticker just went up.
there was one more. Yes, that would absolutely be your monthly fee after setup. So once you pay that setup fee, that's one
Right.
time, never again. And it's just your hosting fee after that. And if you had any extra cost features, those are monthly charges as well. And that's about it.
Right. So you have for the site to be developed, it literally is the one-time fee. The SSL certificate based on the time that you purchased will determine that. As Sam mentioned, we have those custom modules, but the monthly hosting fee is literally monthly. On the last business day of the month, our system will take a look at your database, do the math based off of these calculations, and then from our linked bank accounts, make an automatic withdrawal to pay for the next month's hosting. So in June, you're paying for July, July for August, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We do not have a contract. We don't want you locked into somewhere you don't want to be. And it literally is month to month that we're going. All right, going once, going twice. Never mind. One question.
Oh.
Sam, did somebody just throw something up
Oh,
in the
there
chat?
was a comment. Someone had asked, did I just see Club Trail maps? Yes, you did. And someone had commented that they're also on the Colorado website. If that's true,
Yes.
that would be, yeah. So, yeah, take a look at those, test them out, see how they work. They are quite popular.
All
Do you
right.
want to do your countdown again?
Going once.
You jinx it every time.
Every time. And we're not talking today. We're talking every time Sam and I team
Every
up with
time.
this. Going once, going twice. My email address, steve@clubexpress.com. If you have any questions that we didn't get to or something that we need to dive in a little bit more of, I'm highlighting the hosting fee calculator for that. Please let me know. Steve@clubexpress.com. I greatly appreciate your time coming up here. Hope I was able to show you how strong of a system Club Express is, how rich it is, and how quickly and easily I'm able to work my way through it. Thank you once more for your time. Sam, always a pleasure. Best teammate ever when it comes to these webinars. I greatly appreciate you being up here as well.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Take care, everyone. Bye.